Hey everybody, good afternoon. Hope you guys are still doing well on this Friday, and it's time to wrap up our little video series talking about my predictions for the 2026 Seattle Seahawks on an individual level. And I know the last video we did, the video that I posted yesterday, was talking about the team, but I want to go back to the individual side of things a little bit to look at one final consideration: awards. I want to talk about awards, who I think is going to be taking home hardware on the Seattle Seahawks. And I've got a little bit of a chart set up with my predictions. But first, let's go through some of the major awards and talk about what we might be able to expect here. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. So let's just go through these individual awards. MVP, I don't think the Seahawks will have an MVP candidate. Just not really the way they're structured. I mean, we know that 95% of the time the quarterback wins MVP, and I don't believe that our quarterback is going to put up those kind of numbers to warrant that. Offensive Player of the Year, JSN could be in the running for it again, but I think his numbers are going to go down a little bit this year because I think Shaheed is going to be really good. I'm buying Rashid Shaheed stock pretty heavy. So I think JSN's numbers go down because there's only one football. So nothing there. Defensive Player of the Year. There's some stuff that could happen with that. Maybe if the defense is number one in the league again, you could see an argument for Byron Murphy. If Byron Murphy is holding it down at nose and gets like 10 plus sacks, I don't think it's completely impossible. A guy like Nick Eamon-Wari could get there. I don't think it'll be this year, though. I think you're looking more like 2027 and beyond is when he starts to be like a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. So probably not, but there are a couple guys that are intriguing. Rookie of the Year. Now you have Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jadarian Price is, I mean, he's on the list. If he has some ridiculously monster season, yeah, but I don't think we're going to let him touch the ball enough to have the kind of production it would take. Like, is Jadarian Price going to get 250 or 300 touches? I don't think so. Not in this offense, not the way we play. I think that we're going to spread it around. I think that we're going to let Jadarian Price ease his way into the NFL. And I don't think he'll put up the volume to be Rookie of the Year. I think he'll have about 1,000 yards from scrimmage, and it's cool. So nothing there. So the thing you could talk about, I guess, would be Defensive Rookie of the Year with, I would say, Bud Clark. Bud Clark, I mean, if he starts or plays a lot, and if he has like 6 to 8 interceptions, that could be intriguing because if you look at the list of defensive rookies this year, it's not great. I'm not that impressed. I look at the list of defensive rookies this year, and I don't see anybody who I think is going to have like 10 plus sacks or have a bunch of interceptions as a corner. So if Bud Clark, if he can find his way to the ball a bunch, that's kind of a dark horse. A comeback player of the year, no Seahawks that I can think of could possibly be considered there. Coach of the year usually goes to somebody that is leading a team to big improvement from last year. We were too good last year to do that, so no coach of the year. 14 wins. How much better can you get from that? If you like sports, then the best way to make them even better and more exciting is using the Prize Picks app, where it always feels good to be right. Prize Picks makes daily fantasy simple. Just pick more or less on your favorite players and build lineups with a few taps. Whatever sport you're into, and obviously we are now firmly into the NFL offseason, so we're all about baseball. We got some basketball, we got some hockey, whatever it is you like. Prize Picks gives you a fun way to stay locked in while you're watching. Definitely make sure to use the promo code HMA. Prize Picks is hooking up users with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. If you use that promo code, that is HMA. I've had a great time on Prize Picks so far, so definitely get on over to it, check it out, and make sure to get your lineups. And don't forget about team picks, where you can pick winners, spreads, and totals on any major game. So download the app now, use HMA, and get on over to Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. And remember, always gamble responsibly. So let's see here. Yeah, comeback player of the year. I'm sorry, coach of the year. Sorry, I lost my place there on the page there for a second. That's not going to happen. Assistant coach of the year is always a possibility, I think, when your team is good. But I I don't know. I don't know. This one's tough because, again, the team was so good last year. They're not going to make big improvements this year, so there's less of a base for them to work from. Executive of the year could happen. We have seen back-to-back executives of the year before. The thing is, the things this Seahawks team has done that will make them great this year have mostly been done in previous years, not so much this year. So probably not. So I don't see much of anything there. Now, you do have the easier to get accolades. I'm talking about the Pro Bowl, the All-Pro team, the All-Rookie team. So I do think the Seahawks are going to have some representation there. So we're going to start with the Pro Bowl, move to the All-Pro, and then a little bit of All-Rookie stuff as well. So Pro Bowlers this year. I think Seattle's going to do well. One thing to keep in mind with this stuff is I do believe that once your team wins the Super Bowl, even as much as we as Seahawks fans may feel a little disrespected this offseason, now that we've won it all, I think there will be a little bit more of a push to give the team their kudos in places like this, right? Maybe you don't win MVP, maybe you don't win Player of the Year or anything like that, but you can get rewarded on a lower level, like the Pro Bowl, like the All-Pro team. So, Pro Bowl, I think Sam Darnold will make the Pro Bowl. He did last year. I think his numbers are going to be a little bit better. And you look at the NFC, I mean, there are some good quarterbacks, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the more capable quarterbacks, a lot of the more high volume QBs are in the AFC. So there's not intense competition. You've got Stafford, you've got Dak Prescott, you've got Brock Purdy, and Jordan Love, maybe Jared Goff, because he usually puts up numbers, but you don't need a lot to go your way to make the Pro Bowl. So I think Sam makes it. I've got JSN making the Pro Bowl. I think that's kind of a no-brainer. He would have to really fall on his face to not make the Pro Bowl, because once you become a Pro Bowler, they tend to kind of give you the benefit of the doubt until they have no choice but to not as a Pro Bowler. I got Gray Zabel making the Pro Bowl as well. Not necessarily because I think he'll be the best left guard in the NFC, or even necessarily a top 3 NFC left guard, but I do believe he'll be good. And I do believe that there will be an appetite on the part of voters to reward a Seahawk offensive lineman, because the improvement they've made over the last few years has been linked to their improving offensive line. And at a certain point, I do think you want to reward that. Tackle is a little too crowded to give it to Cross or Lucas, so I actually think Zabel's the guy who breaks through. Defensively, I got Leonard Williams. I think he'll make the Pro Bowl again. He's kind of in that place now where he has a very strong rep. People know him and respect him. And even if his numbers go down a little bit, I think it'll be understood that he's an excellent player who is doing his job at a very high level, and he will be rewarded as such. So that's my Pro Bowler there. And I also have Byron Murphy II making the Pro Bowl for the Seahawks. I think we're going to get both our defensive linemen over there. I think Murphy's numbers are going to be so good this year, it's going to be impossible to take it away from him. Like last year, I thought it was kind of ridiculous that he didn't get more kudos than he did, but I think this is the year he really breaks through and becomes a guy that everybody knows is on the level of the best players in the league at his position. So I think he makes the Pro Bowl. Ernest Jones should make it again. He has a very strong rep. He's going to put up good numbers, and he's going to be known as the guy who wears the green dot on the NFL's best defense, or at least a top 3 defense. That should be good enough. Devin Witherspoon, again, he's kind of a perennial Pro Bowler now. So even if he doesn't play a great season, he will probably get in because he's a known commodity and he's somebody that people respect by default. And I actually think Witherspoon's about to have his best season, so I think he's going to deserve it anyway. But even if he doesn't necessarily deserve it, he'll probably get given the benefit of the doubt. And then Rashid Shaheed, I think, will make it as a returner because he will do both this year. And he clearly is one of the best in the game at it. So with the possible exception of, I can't remember the guy's name, which is a mark against him, but the guy in Dallas, Turpin, I don't know who else it would be. If you give Shaheed 17 games worth of returns, he's going to bust some big ones and he's going to get rewarded. So yeah, Shaheed makes it as a special teamer. All pro. Let's take a look at some all pro stuff. This is an area where the Seahawks have, over the last several years, not done terribly well in. Let's see what I got in 2026. JSN, I think, will make all pro, but I think he'll be second team this year. I don't think he's going to put up the beastly numbers. Again, like I said, in the way he did in 2025, just because I think Shaheed is going to have a really good season and you're going to see a little bit better from Arroyo as well, and it's just going to take away from JSN's numbers because that's just how football goes. So second team for him still. He'll still be phenomenal. I got Byron Murphy making the first team All-Pro because I believe that he's going to become undeniable this year with how good he is. A nose tackle who can push double-digit sacks and spearhead the top run defense in football. I feel those things are within his grasp. I got Ernest Jones making All-Pro second team. I think there are a couple linebackers that are just a little too good for him to break through, but he made it last year. Don't see why he wouldn't this year. I know he probably won't have as many interceptions, but his rep should still be rock solid, and he'll be known as being one of the best linebackers. Next, I got Witherspoon. I think he's going to make All-Pro second team again. You've got a couple guys in front of him, like Surtain, like maybe Sauce gets back up to full power this season. And we know the league loves Sauce Gardner whenever he is playing at a top level of, whenever he's playing good football, they act like he's Deion Sanders. You've got some other top corners as well out there that I think could push Witherspoon for that first team, but I think Witherspoon ends up on the second team. I got Michael Dixon. I think he makes the second team as the punter. Been a while since he made the All-Pro team. I think it's time. I think that it's he's due an All-Pro spot. And again, when you win the Super Bowl, the next year you tend to get a little bit of respect and deference that you weren't getting before. So even somebody like a punter should get a little bit of extra credit because Michael Dixon hasn't gotten a lot of credit recently, but his play is up there. And finally, I've got Shaheed. I think he'll be All-Pro as a returner. Again, I think that there are only one or two guys out there that can really compete with him as a return man. And I think Shaheed will have that great year because we should be giving him those opportunities for all 17 games. That's it for the All-Pro. So that's 6. That's pretty good. Only 2 first teams. But again, this is not really a team that is built around being really top heavy. This is a team that's built around being very deep and having a lot of positive players that aren't necessarily among the best in the league. So it's not surprising. And look, if we can get 4 second teamers and 2 first teamers, that is still going to be one of the best situations of any team in football. There are going to be some teams that are better, but that's still going to be really strong. And I do have one all-rookie, Jadarian Price. I think he makes second team. I imagine Jeremiah Love makes first team because they're going to give him more carries than Price gets. But I think Price will probably do better than any other running back. So I think he'll be on the second team. I don't think any of our other rookies are going to play enough. I think Clark has a chance, but I do think that all rookie is probably just going to be Price this year. And that's all I got. So let me know what you guys think. Those are my award predictions for the 2026 Seahawks. I have 9 Pro Bowlers, 6 All-Pros, and 1 All-Rookie. Okay, see you guys later. Go Hawks. Everyone have a good rest of your day. And more stuff coming soon. But until then, let me know what you think.